Okay, let's dive right into today's explainer because we are unpacking what is literally one of the most explosive and frankly fascinating digital marketing and political case studies of 2026. We're talking about the sudden, massive rise of the Cockroach Janata Party, or the CJP. Now, whether you look at this as a genuine political awakening, a brilliant marketing masterclass, or maybe just a fleeting internet joke, understanding how this machine works is absolutely crucial if we want to grasp how modern internet culture actually operates today. So, the big guiding question we're tackling today is this. How exactly does a highly controversial courtroom remark manage to ignite the youth of India and transform into a massive, organized digital juggernaut in just 48 hours? We're going to forensically deconstruct this whole phenomenon step by step. We've pulled together multiple reports, political analyses, and marketing breakdowns from the past few weeks to really figure out what happened here.
The spark that set the whole thing off was a single comment made on May 15, 2026. During a hearing at the Supreme Court, Chief Justice Surya Kant made a remark comparing certain individuals to parasites and cockroaches. And well, in the age of the viral internet, using a word like cockroaches is basically throwing a match into a powder keg.
Now, we have to be fair here because context is absolutely key. The Chief Justice did issue a statement shortly after clarifying that he was misquoted. He stated he was strictly criticizing individuals who are entering the legal profession with fake and bogus degrees. He wasn't talking about the country's unemployed youth as a whole. But as we all know, the internet moves way faster than an official press release. By the time that clarification came out, the initial interpretation had already escaped. People took that cockroach metaphor and just ran with it. The sheer speed of this thing was breathtaking. Actually, scratch that. It was an explosion. On May 15th, the remark happens. Just one single day later, on May 16th, a 30-year-old Boston University student named Abhijit Dipke essentially weaponizes that insult. He officially launches the Cockroach Janata Party on X. And by May 18th, literally 2 days later, the movement crosses 40,000 registered members. And it absolutely did not stop there. Within a matter of days, the movement amassed 3 million followers on Instagram. 3 million. Plus, there were reports of over 350,000 official membership signups through their portal. To build an audience that large, that fast, and without dropping a dime on traditional advertising, that requires something a whole lot deeper than just a clever tweet. Which brings us to Section 1, building the cockroach identity, turning an insult into a brand. If you wanted to join the CJP, their official criteria laid it out pretty clearly. You had to be unemployed, physically lazy, chronically online for at least 11 hours a day, and possess the ability to rant professionally. It's brilliant, right? They took literally every societal stereotype thrown at Gen Z, all those complaints about kids being lazy and glued to their phones, and they playfully turned it into a badge of honor. They basically said, "Oh, you think we're this? Fine, we'll own it." It created this immediate, highly relatable shared identity. They fueled this identity using what digital marketers call meme-native content. This isn't your polished, high-budget, traditional political ad. Meme-native content is raw, it's fast, it's emotional, and above all, it's participatory. By leaning into this format, the CJP totally lowered the barrier to entry. They weren't asking young people to sit down and read a dense 50-page political white paper. They were just asking you to share a joke. And that made it incredibly easy for frustrated youth to jump in and participate. It is a literal digital marketing masterclass. Take a look at this framework outlined by marketing analyst Digital Deepak. It's a virality engine with 4 precise steps. Step 1, identify a massive, bubbling, underlying emotion. In this case, deep frustration over youth unemployment and recent exam leaks. Step 2, you don't manufacture that anger, you just create a simple container for it. That container was the cockroach identity. Step 3, invite active participation through memes. And step 4, you sit back and watch as that shared identity drives massive organic distribution. It's textbook audience building. Let's move into Section 2, the satirical manifesto, a Trojan horse for serious politics. As you dig past the memes, you realize the humor was actually hiding highly specific, serious demands. The CJP rolled out a 5-point manifesto. They demanded a ban on post-retirement Rajya Sabha seats for chief justices. They called for the arrest of the chief election commissioner under terror laws if legitimate votes are deleted. They wanted 50% reservation for women in parliament, the cancellation of specific corporate media licenses, and a massive 20-year ban for defecting politicians. Suddenly, the satire starts fading away, and what you're looking at are major, highly charged talking points pulled straight from India's political opposition. And then there's their official agenda, which explicitly states they welcome anyone from any political party except the ruling BJP. Now, this explicit exclusion right here, this is the exact detail that led a lot of political observers to start scratching their heads and questioning the true architecture behind the seemingly spontaneous, organic internet movement. That brings us to Section 3, the AAP connection, rebooting the 2013 playbook.
When you look at multiple reports, they heavily emphasize the background of the CJP's founder, Abhijit Deepgay. Remember him? Well, it turns out he has a documented history of working closely with the AAP's digital and social media machinery, specifically between 2020 and 2023. He was heavily involved during the AAP's highly successful, meme-driven 2020 Delhi Assembly elections. So he isn't just some random student who got lucky with a viral tweet. He's actually a seasoned political digital strategist.
Because of that specific background, a lot of analysts are claiming the CJP is basically a modern Instagram reboot of a very specific strategy from back in 2013. You might remember a massive Facebook page called The Logical Indian. It started out as an Arvind Kejriwal fan page before rebranding as a neutral news site. This effectively consolidated anti-incumbency voters ahead of the Delhi elections. Critics are arguing that the CJP is running the exact same playbook in 2026. They're building a massive audience under a neutral satirical brand, with the ultimate goal of channeling those frustrated young voters toward AAP in key upcoming state elections like Punjab, Gujarat, and Goa. Let's look at Section 4, From Memes to Real Politics. The establishment reacts. Regardless of who is actually pulling the strings, the movement immediately attracted some very high-profile endorsements. TMC Member of Parliament Kirti Azad playfully asked to join, and the CJP actually accepted his 1983 Cricket World Cup win as a valid qualification. Fellow TMC MP Mahua Mitra requested to join too. You had senior Supreme Court advocate Prashant Bhushan openly praising the movement for capturing youth frustration. Even major tech leaders like Hotmail co-founder Sabir Bhatia got in on the joke, calling it the most stable ecosystem in the nation. By playing along, these mainstream figures are validating the satire, legitimizing the movement, and tapping into its massive reach to amplify their own criticisms of the current regime. And here is where it gets really interesting because it's stepping right off the screen. Reports in May 2026 indicated that CJP supporters were actually considering fielding a real electoral candidate in the Bankapur Assembly by-election in Bihar, directly challenging the established parties. So we are now looking at the very real potential for digital frustration to step completely out of the internet and land directly onto a physical ballot. So what does this all mean? The Cockroach Janata Party proves that in today's digital world, you really don't need a massive institution or a billion-dollar war chest to organize millions of people. You just need an underlying emotion, a relatable identity, and a painfully simple way for people to participate. As you process all of this, I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. In the age of social media, is culture creation the new most powerful form of political campaigning? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep paying attention to how the internet continues to shape our reality.